G'day, g'day. Welcome to Why Calories Out is not necessarily calories out, especially if you are using calories as a body weight management tool. Here's some reasons why that might be a little bit off for you. So the burn estimates for a lot of fitness trackers, or how much calories you should be getting during the day, can often vary wildly in their error estimates. Ideally, you'd be in this big closed off room where no energy can get in or out, and will measure exactly how much energy you're breaking down. But that's the error on that is awesome. It's 3.3%. Nobody uses it. It's way too expensive. Nobody has those machines. Similarly, the drinking water that has isotopes in it, and they can track what sort of tissues in the body are metabolizing fast. That's got a better, or slightly worse error margin. That's 10%, but also nobody uses it. No one's got those tools. What's most used is an indirect measure. So picture someone running on a treadmill with a big gas mask on. It measures how much CO2 you're breathing off, how much oxygen you're taking in, how many calories you're burning by indirectly. That's what 99% of companies use for calorie estimates. However, that has 45% error margin. It's huge. The other side, genetics. You might burn differently from your friend. In fact, it's almost a given. Some variants on genes can mean you can burn up to 150 calories less per day, just one gene. There's also epigenetics, how your genes interact with the environment. Say if your mom drank some things she shouldn't have, or did some different things while she was pregnant, or just the amount of stress in your life growing up and right now will change how genes express. And that's a 5% change in calories, which is still quite a bit. Brown fat, how much brown fat you have, which is a type of fat that does help with thermogenesis, or keeping you warm. It does burn through calories quite nicely, and some people have more than others, depending if you live in a cold environment or your history, your family history. Sleep. Now, for those that to say they can get by 6 hours sleep and they're fine, this is another knowledge bomb for you, why that might not be the case. In the research, it's around 7.5 hours is the tipping point for sleep deprived. Sleep deprived people the next day burn on average 5 to 20% less calories than they should. They move around less, they metabolize a bit less. Maybe you should be getting a bit more sleep. In fact, I guarantee it. And hormones, where you are in your cycle as a female, will change how many calories you chew through. And it can be up to 10% across the month, changes up and down. What and how much you eat is also really important to take into account. There's an interesting study where they overfed people, so they're 1,000 more calories than they usually would eat for 8 weeks. Some people only gained 3/4 pound. Some people gained 9 to 10 pounds. Different people respond differently to overfeeding, and it's quite a lot. What else we got? Yeah. Macros. Different macros require different amounts of energies to break open and get the energy from. Fats, it's not so much, 0 to 3%. Carbs, we're talking 5 to 10% energy requirements to bust that thing open. Proteins, 20 to 30% of the energy in a protein is required just to break it out and process it. And weight history. If you have been at a higher weight and then come down to a lower weight, your body remembers that. It remembers that quite well. And often when people drop weight, the body can respond in a way that almost it thinks you're starving. So it will slow shit down. It will hold on to the fat that you've got. You will move slower. You will get a little bit hungrier. So a lot of people who have dropped down in weight actually require sometimes 200 to 300 calories less than typical estimates would usually indicate. So we've got calorie burn estimates are almost always off. Individual burn estimates, how much you burn changes, what and how much you eat changes, and your weight history changes. On average, 25% of how much calories you burn for the same given food. That's a lot. So if you're tracking calories, maybe take that all into account, or we have some different ways of doing it. So tomorrow we're going to do what we do to help track that. But feel free to reach out and in between. If you've got any questions, feel free to pick my brain. See you tomorrow.